Hey, this is Luke with another Android Guys podcast. I'm here with Scott.
Hi, Luke. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great.
You have a pretty cool thing to talk about today.
Yes, I do.
Take it away.
So this is a smart door lock from Lockly. I've reviewed a handful of their products over the years.
I like Lockly.
I like Lockly a lot. This is the Vison Elite Smart Lock Deadbolt.
Okay.
So this would go on your door if you have a deadbolt, like your front door, your main door, not something you would put on like to your garage.
Sure.
Just a regular old knob lock or something.
Right.
So this is going to be a deadbolt. So the system itself, or the product itself, is goes on the inside and outside. It comes with its own lock. It has keys that come with it, physical keys.
Okay.
But with Lockly, the beauty of it is, of all the products I've ever reviewed of theirs, I've never had to use the physical keys. They basically go on a hook in the kitchen, and every so often we got to go through and look at locks and keys and like, what do these go to?
Right.
And we remember they belong to this lock.
Yeah.
So the way you would get into your house is there are a couple of methods. One, there's a full touch panel on the screen that when you're outside, you come up to the house, you can basically touch to wake up the screen, and then it's going to have 4 little number pads or circles pop up with some numbers in it.
Okay.
So then you would key in your like 6-digit code to get in.
Sure.
So you can't do a 4-digit. You can do a 6.
Okay.
Or I think maybe more. But a couple of things about that. If you're concerned, for instance, that you might have a neighbor who looks over your shoulder, or maybe a guest comes with you and you wake the screen up and put your code in.
Yeah.
There's really no way for them to guess the code, because each of those 4 circles has a random set of numbers in it. So the numbers are never the same.
And so the number 4 is never in the same spot.
Right. So it might be 1, 4, and 9.
Okay.
And then the other numbers might be 4, 5, 9, and then 6, 3, 2.
Interesting.
So when you do that, it randomly generates.
Yeah.
And so it's virtually impossible to tell because of the pure number of combinations.
Sure.
And there's also an option in there with the app that my family doesn't love this when I turn it on, but it will refresh all 4 of those each time you tap one.
Oh, interesting.
So if you open it up, wake the screen up, you'll see where all the numbers are. You're going to tap away.
Right.
But you can do that to where you tap it and then it resets in the same. Each spot has 3 different numbers.
Oh, interesting.
So you'll never, even if somebody's like, oh, he always does the 1, 2, 3, 4, like in this order. No, it's going to be really, really random.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I've done that just to test it.
Yeah, sure.
And the first thing I get from my wife is, what did you do to the lock? It sucks.
The lock is broken. Every time I hit a button, it resets.
Well, honey, I know why you do it. Can you turn it off?
It's a feature, not a bug.
Yeah, go back to the way it was. I don't because you have to like literally look like, where's the 7 now?
Right. So it takes a little bit longer to get in the door.
Yeah, but it's a security feature. Yeah. So that's one way to get in. And then you've got your physical key.
Yep.
But then you also have on the right side of it a fingerprint reader.
Oh, nice.
So that's our preferred way. Everybody in my family has, I've added fingerprints to the lock. But then you also have, I created some codes so that each of us, if the fingerprint reader, if we come home and our fingers are wet, or we got gloves on and we're carrying things, we can't really put the finger up to it, but we can tap it out, then we have those as backups.
Okay.
Now, you can also create some one-time codes for people.
Oh, okay.
So I can send you a code that works once. If I said, hey, will you run to my house real quick and feed my dog? Sure. This code will let you get in. Nice. Then once you're in and you're back out and it's locked, you can't get back in. Oh. I can also add you as a trusted user that says, Luke is able to do this for the next 4 days. Okay. And then you have, it automatically expires.
Right.
It has trusted users. There's one-time codes. There are people who are, I want to say, there's like another, might come to me here. I think just one other option in there.
Okay.
So a couple other features. There is a camera on the doorbell.
Nice.
I'm sorry, on the lock.
Yeah.
With a doorbell button.
Oh, cool.
So somebody can walk up and, push the button. I'll get an alert on my phone.
Right.
So I work, I'm literally 5 minutes from my house. And if somebody pushes the button, I'll get an alert and I can see them.
Right.
And I can talk to them.
Oh, nice.
There's two-way talk. So there's a mic and a speaker in that. I can manually go in and unlock the door. So a couple of weeks ago, my dad stopped over.
Yeah.
He doesn't live in the area.
Right.
He just happened to be out running some errands and stopped over.
Yeah.
And I was here.
Yeah.
So I was able to chat with him real quick. I said, "Hey, Dad, I'll be home in about 6-7 minutes.
Yeah.
Let me lock up here and I'll be on the way."
Yeah.
And I unlocked the door and I was talking to him
go
the
ahead
whole
and go
time.
in,
I said,
yeah.
"Go ahead and go in. I'll be there in a few minutes."
Yeah.
And he was able to go into the house. And when I got home, he's like, "How the heck did you do all that?"
That's cool.
So the app gives him the full control of that.
Yeah.
You can also lock it that way.
Okay.
You can also use voice control if you
Uh-huh.
have a assistant like Google or Alexa.
Okay.
So you can say at the end of the night, "Hey, G, lock the front door."
Right.
It'll lock that.
Yeah.
You can also set it to automatically lock. If your door, shuts and after so long, it'll automatically just turn the deadbolt for you.
Okay.
It's pretty quiet.
Yeah.
But when it's being, pushed.
Do you get alerts when it's unlocked?
So the app will let you
Tailor
configure
those?
that.
Yeah. Okay.
There is a log, so you can go in and see when people access it.
Yeah.
And it will say whose code they put in or whose fingerprint was used.
Right.
My son was using a key, like a code. He gave it to his girlfriend so she could stop over once in a while.
Yeah.
She would come over and help us with our dogs.
Yeah.
Feed our animals. And so she would put in his code so that I would know it's like, oh, it's either him or her.
Right.
But I just create a code for her.
Yeah.
You can create them on the fly too.
Uh-huh.
So if I'm out and about and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to get home. I've got a package sitting on the porch. I'll text my neighbor and she can go in, open the door, shut it, and it's good to go.
Right.
So it's really, really convenient.
Yeah.
The camera has night vision.
Oh, nice.
So you can see, somebody standing there. It's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
The doorbell does not ring throughout your house.
Okay.
It is just in that doorbell itself.
Okay.
It's on the other side of the lock, basically.
Right.
So you'll hear that if somebody pushes it when you're home.
Yeah.
Whereas something like a Google doorbell, if you have it set up to your smart home,
Right.
it'll ring throughout all your speakers.
Right.
Here, it's still loud enough, but it's just in that one spot.
I gotcha.
You can do, I want to say, a scan to open, but I'm not sure how that works. I haven't messed with that.
Okay.
One of the really nice features about this one, and different from the other ones in the past that I've tested, the batteries.
Yeah.
So some of their other models I've tested would have like 8 AA batteries.
Right.
And if those died, you could put like a 9-volt up underneath the bottom of it to kind of like trick it, to, give it enough juice to kind of manually get in.
Sure.
This one does not do that. This one is you charge it up. There's USB-C.
Okay.
But then over the front of the tumbler, the key tumbler, is like this little panel that kind of swivels to open to reveal it.
Uh-huh.
That has solar panels in it.
Oh,
So
interesting.
it will slow trickle recharge that thing. So in essence, you never have to replace the battery and you don't necessarily have to plug it in to charge it either.
Nice.
And fortunately, the way our house is set up is our front door faces the east.
Oh, perfect.
So it's always, half the day it's getting sun.
Yeah.
Except here in Ohio, some days it's
There's no sun.
There is no sun.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist from October to March. But I've had this thing in for a couple of months now.
Yeah.
Never have a battery warning. Never have anything pop up saying
That's awesome.
you need to consider, plugging it in.
Sure.
It's nice.
Easy installation.
Very easy installation. I'm not a handyman,
Sure.
but I'm handy enough.
Right.
It takes me. This is probably like the third model that I've installed from them. Each one is unique, but they're pretty similar in the fact that one piece goes to the front.
Yeah.
And you kind of, fish and screw things into the back. You just kind of run the through the tumbler. Everything is but maybe 20 minutes to install.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you can look at the instructions. It's fairly easy to figure out. Yeah. There are videos you can watch to go through. The box comes with really very easy setup.
Nice.
It's got its own serial code so that if you want to register it, it's also very easy if you need like support.
Yeah.
And that's another nice thing. It's got a 5-year warranty.
Oh, wow.
So if you have any problem with the parts or labor,
yeah,
it's got a 5-year warranty. All that to say it's pricey.
Okay.
It is about $4.99.
Okay.
So that's available through Best Buy.
Sure.
And I think there may be some other retailers. I have seen Lockly at Home Depot.
Okay.
And I maybe want to say Lowe's, but they're a good brand.
Yeah.
I've met with them and talked to them. I saw them recently at CES.
Yeah.
Very, very nice people. Very good product.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they care about it.
Yeah.
It everything feels intentional. It doesn't feel like oh, this isn't August or Yale or Schlage. Like
right.
This isn't a company who this isn't a deadbolt company.
That's adding smarts to a deadbolt.
Yeah, this is somebody who's smart coming into a deadbolt industry.
Right.
Doesn't feel like an outsider.
Right.
It feels like it's a good brand.
Yeah.
I did have an issue with one in the past, but they were very receptive support, easy to get a hold of.
Nice.
And to talk to somebody. So it was good resolution.
Right.
And I would feel that this would be just the same thing. A couple other things to think about here. It's easy to add to your Google Assistant.
Nice.
If you have that in your house, once you have that, you just kind of pair your Lockly account to it.
Right.
And then you can just say, where is this? And just tell it what you want to lock or unlock.
Okay.
You cannot unlock it by voice.
Okay.
Which is a feature because if you think about if your front door is locked, but your screen is open.
Sure.
You can't just yell, hey, G,
right.
unlock the front door.
Right.
Because anybody would be able to do that.
Right.
So you can lock it by voice, but you can't unlock it by voice.
Interesting. Okay.
You can have it automatically, like if you just want to touch the screen, you can have it lock that way. Or you can, there's a lot of like tailoring to your experiences.
Does it have any like proximity or NFC functionality with your phone?
It does not. And so that feels like the next evolution is something where it would be like Bluetooth or smart recognized devices,
right?
Something that you trust, like you could teach it. I do know that they recently announced basically it's a safe, like a smart home safe that I don't know if it's official or coming, but they showed one in Las Vegas at CES. And one of the cool things is with your account, your fingerprints and your passwords and everything are stored to your account.
Right.
So if you bought that safe, you don't have to teach it your fingerprints.
Right.
You just log in and anybody you want to give the access to is the same thing to that. So
nice. I
like that they're kind of like each generation, they kind of lean a little bit forward with
they're building a little bit more of an ecosystem.
Yeah. So there are a handful of products, Wi-Fi, smart locks.
Right.
In the past, you had to, previous model, there was like an accessory that you had to plug into a power outlet.
Sure.
That kind of talked to a piece that was in your plugged into your router or your hub.
Yeah.
Here, it's just the lock and then the piece that plugs into your hub.
Okay.
You don't have to install any like third party. It just kind of works seamlessly.
Nice.
Kind of thing. So there are, there's this is the Vision Elite.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you wanted to go with something like maybe a step down, they have like there's the Secure Pro is another one that you can get. It's like $299.
Okay.
That was the one that I had before.
Yeah.
That is for all practical purposes the same kind of experience, except you'll be plugging in your battery.
Sure.
You'll have that little piece that you plug into a power outlet. It's kind of, it's not a step down, but it's a couple $100 less.
Sure.
And for most people, that's kind of like, oh, that's all I need.
Yeah.
And then you're able to pick that in different finishes like satin nickel, Venetian bronze.
Okay.
Depending on what your house is. So the Vision Elite is the newest. The one that I have is, I think it only comes in the one color. It's basically black.
Yeah.
It's a really nice neutral color that blends with everything. It looks very modern.
Yeah.
It doesn't take up a whole lot of space, but I do know that just anecdotally, our front door latch for the outside door will sometimes, if we aren't careful, will push up against that solar piece, that swivel. So, and I think that's just maybe a little bit of the temperature changing.
Sure.
That sometimes you look at it and you're like, oh, wait a second, the door doesn't want to shut.
Right.
It's a little, but that's just anecdotal, and that's our front door has like kind of like a big latch handle. So very easy to set up, very cool. I think it's a brand and a product that I would certainly recommend. And when I did price that, I know that that's kind of pricey. Yeah. But it's competitively priced.
It is, yeah.
And you look at what some of the other locks are at Best Buy, like smart door locks. This was $499, but then if you're looking at other models, you're looking at $250, $300, $400, depending on what kind of features you're looking at.
Sure.
So it's not like an abstract price where you're like, who do these guys think they are?
Right.
But again, I don't know what other companies get warranty wise. The 5-year to me is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So that's the Lockly Vision Elite.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Scott.
You're welcome. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast.
Thanks for listening.
We appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, feedback, concerns, comments, anything, shoot us an email at podcast@AndroidGuys.com. We'd love to hear from you one way or the other. Luke, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Luke Gaul, Gaul.
And I'm on Instagram at Scott Webster and Twitter as SWebster77. Until next time, thanks for listening.
See ya.